Hello, hello. My name is Kim Addis, and I am the president and founder of Frame of Mind Coaching. And I want to welcome you to the Frame of Mind Coaching podcast, where we have amazing guests who are willing to be coached live and in person right here on the show. I want to welcome today Tony McGrath. Tony, welcome.
Great to be here. Thank you. And hi from sunny Kelowna, British Columbia.
And for those of you who have never been to Kelowna, it is literally heaven on earth. It's one of the most beautiful places, I would say, in the world. So
I agree.
You're in the right place.
I agree.
Tony, tell us a little bit about you. What brings you to Kelowna? Who are you? What do you do? What's going on in your life? Give us a little detail.
Okay. I've got a lengthy story. I'm a little older than you.
Just a bit, though. Not that much.
I'm an Irish boy, grew up in England. I've been an elite athlete in judo, educated in the UK. I've been a soldier, a banker, a hospital administrator, CEO of an insurance company. I've been an entrepreneur. I built an insurance company, a federally approved insurance company. I've been a business consultant, so I've worked with companies on culture development and strategy. I've worked in the startup space extensively in Canada, and I've worked in a number of incubators. 2 years ago, I got the opportunity to become a CEO of the GRAND Theatre in Calgary, which is a bizarre twist, I understand. I've never been in the arts and I've never run a theatre, and this is just one of the most beautiful, iconic theatres in Canada. It's been gorgeously renovated. It's in downtown Calgary. Originally was a 1912 vaudeville theatre. So we've had the likes of the Marx Brothers and Fred Astaire and his sister Estelle dance there.
Wow.
Nellie McClung had a women's voting rights rally there. So
nice.
So I rebuilt a severely damaged brand, rebuilt the business, put a brand new team together, all from the arts who've never been in business before. Mm-hmm. And then this year on the 12th of March, the world changed. Pretty much 12 months of revenue disappeared in a few hours. In the interim, my team has been laid off permanently, and I'll actually be leaving the Grand on the 31st of December to look at some new adventures in business. I'm not done by a long way yet. So.
Okay, so new adventures in business. Do you have your sights set on what you're going to go for, where you're going? Do you have an idea? Is that why you moved to Kelowna?
Yeah, so my wife runs an accelerator in Calgary, so she's going to stay there. She runs something called Intergen Connect, really cool project, connecting veteran business people and entrepreneurs with high growth businesses. So they're looking at really accelerating Alberta business. We've got the double whammy of oil prices and COVID in Calgary right now. And I have lived in Kelowna before, so we just bought a place down here. She's going to do some commuting. And I've worked virtually for 20 years. I'm not very used to this COVID-esque scenario. So I can't think of a more beautiful place for me to live and do business. So I'll be basing myself here. So I'll spend more time here than I will in Calgary. So.
Amazing.
And do I know what I want to do? Not entirely. I've got a very open heart on that right now, but I'm really interested in the world of PR. That's been my main job at the theatre, is rebuilding the brand and speaking on behalf of the theatre. And we've been plagued with poor press, poor leadership behaviour, complaints, bullying. You name it. It was pretty damaged. Nobody in the arts community trusted us, and nobody in the wider community really knew we were there. It was a bit of a shame. I'm not attaching blame to anybody. In the past, the arts tends to be not that well funded, but it's been an amazing experience. I've loved speaking publicly on behalf of the Grand. I've gotten to do a lot of podcasts, and that's kind of started to expand a bit more recently into my personal life and my business life. So
right. So outside of the Grand and you're interested in PR, is there a book inside of you? Like what do you envision potentially happening on the PR side?
there's a fabulous young PR company. I think the oldest person there is like 30 years younger than me.
Okay.
And I've worked with them pretty extensively. So we're gonna be having a few chats around how I can bring my business and personality, my business experience and personality to their business.
So they're looking for a little wisdom.
Well, they're looking in the wrong place for wisdom from me. But I can definitely add some experience. So, you know, we're blessed in British Columbia with amazing wineries and destinations here. So it's a market they want to get into. But I don't know for sure that may be something we engage in. We're talking at the moment, but I do like that field. I've got a couple of opportunities to go back to insurance with very open-minded companies. I'm not always the best employee in the world, and that's why you and I are talking.
So let's go right there. What is the challenge that you want to discuss today? Not the best employee. What does that mean? What does that allude to?
I have a big personality, and I bring a lot of energy and enthusiasm and knowledge to a business. But I have a real problem with people who have a control as their primary means of managing. I'm not the most detail-oriented guy in the world. And I do find a problem with filling in reports and meetings that just seem so meaningless at times. Mm-hmm. I understand a business has to have controls. I understand that. So over many, many years, I've run into this problem on a consistent basis, and I'm not entirely sure what it is about my way of doing things and my personality that will cause me that issue. So.
Well, so I don't know, like what you're describing most of your life is you're in leadership positions in existing structures. Is that accurate?
Yes. That's been a chunk of my career. I built the structure myself too. I don't run things in that way. My philosophy is I'll hire grown-ups and step out of the way and let them do their job. And they're going to come to me if they need assistance.
But essentially, there's always someone you're accountable to, someone you're reporting to.
Someone somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. So it's very, very interesting because we do a lot of work with very, very, very successful entrepreneurs. And one of the things we've discovered in working with these entrepreneurs is most entrepreneurs are just like you. They're super smart, super energetic, super driven. And a lot of them are not detail oriented. And a lot of them aren't the kinds of people who dot their I's and cross their T's, you know, and very often we call those people visionaries. Okay, so they have an idea, they know how things should be, they have a picture in their mind, literally and figuratively, of what it needs to look like, and they're leaders, they're charismatic, and they're able to round up people and share their vision and get people on board and move the truck forward.
That's a good description of me, I think.
Yeah, except that their lack of detail and they're in a way, it's a bit of a like, okay, I'm bringing the team together and then I let go. Right?
Yeah.
What happens is sometimes the relenting that gas pedal means that things don't always work out as we want them to. And then people are going, what's happening? I don't see the control. Okay, so there's a few things that I want to kind of share with you. Number one is that people like you succeed when they have a great second person in command. That's called an integrator. And an integrator is a person who's operationally minded, a person who does have an attention to detail, who does pay attention to the crossing the T's and dotting the I's, and the person who likes to look at process and how to improve process. Yeah. So that's number one. Number two
and that's been my wife in business generally when we built a business. She's a lawyer.
There you go.
And Germanic by nature.
Okay. So it's very important for you to keep that in mind, because you're not going to be able to succeed without that other critical player in place.
Yeah.
Okay. And why? Because you're always going to be viewed as the person who's letting those important details perhaps slip through the cracks. And so that's just a formula for disaster for you. The other piece of it is that now you're kind of coming into a place where you're making a new decision about what to do next. And I'm very curious about how up until now you've been able to successfully fit into other organizational structures as opposed to creating your own. To me, what I'm hearing is an entrepreneurial nature. And so even as you partner with potentially this PR firm, I would encourage you to consider and look at how you could potentially do this in an entrepreneurial manner. So you're not working for anyone, but you're rather partnering with someone with your own business structure side by side, as opposed to under or for or anything else.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So if you had your own business, what would it be really about? What would it look like? Who would your right-hand man or woman be? And then who out there is willing to partner with someone like you who has great vision? Okay. So that's in order to set you personally up for success.
Yeah, because I'm going to keep bumping into the same problem again otherwise.
100%. Like not everybody is designed to work for others. I am one of those such people, right? Yeah. I cannot. I just can't. I have an idea of how things need to go and I want to live my idea, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
I can paint the whole picture in my head and know exactly what it's going to look like, who should be doing what.
Right. Because when you go work for others, all you do is you see all the mistakes, all the faults, all the flaws, all the things that need to be fixed. And while you're probably right most of the time, it's not easy to be around you, right?
Yeah, I have always enjoyed good staff rapport, but there's sometimes like I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, you know, you need to be clearer in your instructions. So it operates both ways for me. When I delegate, I'm sometimes not clear.
Right. So let's go one step further. And let's just say there are going to be people who come across as controlling. Yes?
Yeah.
And so the question is, what do we do with those people? Do we just say, you know, screw you, we don't want you in our world, I'm not answering to you, and have that knee-jerk reaction of fighting back, you know, the fight or flight? In your case, you're probably fighting back, you're challenging them, etc. And what I would recommend is a slightly different approach. And the approach is to really understand their concern, understand what they're after. It's not just that they want you to fill in the report. They're looking for something beyond the report. It's not just that they want you to have a meaningless meeting. They're looking for something. They're after something. And so your job is to really take a moment to say, what is it that you need right now? Like, what is the need behind this request? And how can I serve it in a way that feels good to me, basically?
Because my natural reaction is that's dumb. Right?
Exactly. And so rather than that being the natural reaction, what you want to do is make a further inquiry and say, so, you know, what is it that you need from this meeting so that you walk away feeling good, confident, at peace, whatever it is you need. Let me supply that in the best way that I can. Oh, so you're looking for this information for me? No problem. I can give that to you. And so you're giving them what they need, because what they're asking for is what they think they need, and you showing up in their format doesn't work for you. But you taking a moment to really understand, you know, the source of the need is very useful. Because when you just say that's dumb, what happens? Everything gets shut down. Even if you're only saying it in your brain. Yeah. Right?
Well, my non-verbal language then is of boredom, and I start to cross my arms, and you know, my eyes roll in my head, not actually physically, but you know, it's very clear that I get.
So you really are very theatrical.
That's possible.
But my point is that you're giving off a very strong vibe, a very strong feeling to another person that whatever they're requesting is not something that you're resisting, right? You're totally giving off, I hate this, I don't want to do it, I'm resisting.
Yeah.
And what we want to do, and when you do that, right, you create division. You create a divide. You're not building your team. You're not collaborating in any way. What we want to do is say, okay, so you're looking for this report, but what is it exactly that you need from me? What do you need from this report? And maybe we can do it in such a way that's a win-win for both of us.
Yeah.
So you want to get to that source and take it one step further instead of just being at the point of resisting.
Yeah. I'm good at resisting. It comes naturally to me. That's my first instinct is, no, I'm not doing that.
So what is...
I'll do it, but reluctantly.
Yes. So what is resistance? Actually, when you feel yourself resisting, it's an indicator that your thoughts about this are pointed away from what you want. Mm-hmm. So what you want to do is say, so there's two parts, right? One is ask them what they want. The second part is ask yourself, what do I want? Yeah. I want to be able to have a really great working relationship with this person. Mm-hmm. And my resistance isn't bringing me there. So what's going to bring me there? What's going to bring me there is to take a moment to understand their intentions and their needs.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. So ask yourself not only what is it that they need, but what do I want? Oh, yeah. I want harmony. I want a good relationship. I want to move forward efficiently and effectively. So I have someone in front of me where I could collaborate and make that happen potentially if I take a moment to understand what they need, where they're coming from, and how I can serve them. That's a totally different conversation.
Yeah. I'm capable of having those conversations. It's just a matter of putting myself in the frame of mind to do it.
It's all about your frame of mind, right?
It is. That's fantastic, Kim. I've been around a long time and I haven't taken a moment to think about, because I go with a lot of entrepreneurial guys, I go with my gut reaction, and I can get a little stubborn.
And that's probably why you're somewhat successful, but we'll come back to that maybe personally one-on-one. Tony, I want to say thank you for being on this podcast, for sharing your challenge. I do not think you're alone. I think that a lot of entrepreneurially minded leaders feel very similar. They don't like it when people impose on them rules, regulations, dumb ideas that they have to live by. And so I appreciate you sharing this with us. I hope you walked away with something of value.
Absolutely, I did. Absolutely. Thank you, Kim. I really appreciate your input today.
Amazing. And for those of you who are listening, if there's a challenge that you want to share on this podcast, please reach out. My email address is kim@frameofmindcoaching.com. And if there's a challenge that you are not comfortable sharing on the podcast, but still want to talk about, please reach out to me anyways. My email address is kim@frameofmindcoaching.com. Tony, until we meet again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.